Hello and welcome back to Blackpool. What an epic first match we had this afternoon. Over 3 hours of play in our first semi-final. So running at about an hour behind schedule at the moment. Two very quick players, or at least one very, very quick player in the shape of Shaun Chipperfield coming up. His opponent Richard King, former snooker professional. Very pleased to be joined for this match by Mick Delahunty. I don't know how much you've seen of either of these two guys. Both qualifiers, so possibly not big names.
Yeah, look, I saw Shaun played my son in the last 16, so needless to say, I watched that match, and it was over pretty quickly. He's a very fast player. Yeah. My son can play, but he didn't get a look in that particular match. I saw it from 3-1 down. It took 16 minutes. 6:17, I left the eating area. At 6:33, it was over. I saw him get one visit to the table.
I think it's going to be a clash of styles. I've seen less of Richard King play. I don't know if you've seen anything of him. But
I can't say that I have, but...
we were talking about it beforehand. He was a snooker pro a few years back and won some stuff in that game, so that tells you how good a player he must be.
Obviously play. I haven't been here since 2012, so it's 4 years, and Richard's obviously developed on the 8
and you faced it.
So it should be a fantastic match. If the quality of the field, every time I've looked up, they're just fantastic players everywhere. So if they've reached this far, we should be for something.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
We hope this match is going to be as good as the last one, although perhaps a little bit quicker. Let's go over to John Hope to welcome the players in.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start the second semi-final of the men's individuals for 2016. The first I'll introduce you, your referee, Claire Watt. Also your timekeeper, George Bradbury, also from England. Now we bring the players on. First we have Shaun Chipperfield from England. And his opponent today, also from England, Richard King.
So, the tale of the two qualifiers. Our first match had the two big-name England team players go up against each other. This time, two names that may be slightly less familiar to some viewers, although not to anyone that follows the game closely. Richard King and Shaun Chipperfield, both big names amongst those that have watched them play. Shaun Chipperfield in particular, renowned as a very fast, very fluent plotter. He's going to be a real handful today. The break in the last match proved to be quite a problem for both players. We saw a succession of dry breaks when they handed the table over to each other. Both going to be very keen to avoid that at this level. Far too costly if you don't get a first look in the match. How have you found the conditions, Mick? You've been playing for Australia in the team competition so far, playing obviously on the 7-foot table rather than the 8 to this point.
Yeah, no, the conditions have been pretty good. The tables have been fantastic. The evaporative air conditioning in the building, we're in Australia where it's very hot a lot of the time. Of course, most of our buildings are fully air
I think if you managed to find a hot day here, you're probably doing well.
Yeah.
We certainly don't have that problem today.
No, well, it's beautiful here now, and there are different times it hasn't been quite as good as I'd have liked, but other than that, it's been pretty good, and the tables have been fantastic. So, who's broken? Who won the lag?
Richard's won the lag.
Right.
Decent start. He's found a red ball into the pocket.
Not wasting any time. He's nominated the reds and he's down quickly.
Well, if you wanted to know what sort of player he is, that probably answers your question. He's played that quickly and aggressively.
And that's a great thing, isn't it, for us? We're going to watch it. This should be a shootout. It should be fantastic. Two guys going quickly. I think he's probably on the ball in the middle. Just got a little problem with the one near the yellows on the side cushion.
Good angle off this one to take this red top right, cannon out the difficult one.
Yeah. Just depends on the result. Oh, he's missed the pot.
Well, you can forgive anybody a few first frame nerves, but that was a relatively straightforward shot. I imagine putting his effort into the cannon, I don't think he could have missed the pot itself in a million years if he tried.
No, I think the concentration factor was certainly on getting the bad ball out rather than potting the ball. And early in a match, it's easier just to forget to do both at the same time, but you don't expect it at this level. And once again, Shaun straight down on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's no exaggeration to say Shaun is one of the quickest players I've ever played. I've played him at 9-ball and 8-ball before, and in both he races around the table.
Yeah. And from what I've seen, just doesn't miss much.
No, he's a fantastic potter.
Yeah.
I mean, from talking to people, his only weakness, I guess, is that occasionally he does play so fast that he does miss a bit, but it doesn't happen very often, and it hasn't happened in this tournament.
I think that's what we just saw from Richard. Prepared to get a bit nervy, played fraction too quick, which you can do.
People tend to go one of two ways when they're on these TV stages because they know there's a time limit, but they do sometimes find themselves rushing.
Yeah, that's something interesting for Shaun then. I mean, he's landed fine, but there's no way in this world that he would have been trying to kiss that yellow down the bottom. He wouldn't have been playing to kiss anything.
No, it's turned out very well because in kissing that yellow, he's actually knocked it into a better position.
Yeah. He's just taking the one on the rail. Come back for the one down the bottom here, and
I think he could prove to be one of the most exciting new talents we've had in quite a long time. And I say new in inverted commas, he's not new to playing pool and he's not a new face to this tournament, but this is his first very deep run.
like I said, he was just unbelievable. I came along to watch because my son was playing, and I thought, well, he's been playing very, very well in the whole tournament, and expected him to have a good run. He never got a look in. And then I noticed the next match that Shaun played, it was 8-1 in about about 25 minutes as well. So that was the last 16 match and the last 8 match. He won them both 8-1. And there's the first frame. Shaun 1 love up with his break to come.
Yeah, and against good players. Your son James has been on a good run. Looking at the team stats, he's right up there.
Well, he topped them, I think. He's ended up the player of the carnival for the team situation. So, and then he beat. Who did he beat the next one? 8-1. Hidden Patel from India, who's a very, very good player in the last 8. So, you're getting down to the last 16 and the last 8, and you're winning 8-1. You're playing very, very good ball.
And he beat Giuseppe D'Imperio, number 5 seed in the last 64.
Yeah.
Dumped him out unceremoniously at an early stage.
Yeah.
He would certainly have been one of the favourites. We've seen a lot of Giuseppe in the
Giuseppe
stream stages lately. Seeing our sponsors there, Aramith providing the balls, playing with a supreme table and a Strawn cloth.
And like I said before, I think that the tables have just been fantastic. The quick, which is what all good players like. You want the tables, the balls to be rolling, so you just have to adjust to how quick they are.
I always think these tables are great if you're playing well. Like that, you can do absolutely anything. But
Yeah.
if you're not playing well, they can make you look a bit silly somehow.
Yeah.
The ball's skidding around everywhere.
Yeah, and you can get out of position and snoogie yourself on every ball you play. But the great players seem consistently to pick up the pace very quickly, don't they? And in good conditions. And there you go. We have and then off the break from Shaun, so Richard gets his chance to square the match up.
Yeah, I was just talking to Shaun on his way in. He was saying that he felt that break had been one of his biggest assets in the rounds up until now. But like everyone, having to adjust. They've played up to the quarterfinals, up to including the quarterfinals on 7-foot tables, playing the slightly larger table in the TV arena for the final stages. Always takes a period of adjustment for everyone.
Yeah, I think the breaking on certain types of tables, you change where you break from depending on how quickly it's going or where they're breaking from. But Shaun certainly had it worked out on the 7-foot table, so it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to these. These yellows look pretty easy, Mark. See if Richard's able to maintain his concentration this time.
Yeah, it's just the difficulty of the one that near the right-hand middle pocket. It looks like it may be pressed against the cushion.
Yeah, they're deceptive. Sometimes they...
sometimes they fly.
Yeah, they just fly. Yeah, you're correct. changed his mind. Didn't like the angle on that yellow with the white going into the yellows, into the red. Sorry.
Well, that's two surprising misses now. He's putted a couple of difficult balls and then missed a couple that you can't be even thinking about missing if he's going to get anywhere in this match.
I think he's very nervy. You don't want to be nervy against this boy.
You don't, and I think he's probably heard, even if he doesn't know Shaun that well, I think he's probably just heard his reputation is that he just pots everything.
Yeah.
I think it just scares you slightly.
We have a tactical shot.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that in our first semi-final this afternoon. I don't think we're going to see quite as much this time.
No. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I thought he'd play that and try and knock the two on the side cushion out a little bit, but he obviously thought that this red here was too hard to get on later.
Well, suddenly that pocket that looked like it was covered wasn't covered at all.
Well, it was
We're
a bad.
back in.
It wasn't a great shot from Shaun. So we just had a couple of nervous start here from both players.
Yeah, I mean, entirely understandable. It's a very alien position. Not so much the pressure of playing in tournaments, because they'll both have won plenty, but it's the playing in front of a lot of people and with a lot of stuff going on that you're not used to. Like people walking around with cameras and wheeling cameras around. It's just a different environment.
Semi-final of a world title. They don't come around very often.
No, well, and that's exactly the thing. The standard's so high these days. It's not like if you lose one, you think, oh, I'll have another go next year. You know how many good people you have to beat to get to this point.
Yeah. So, another tactical. I'm sure he tried to pot it, but I can't see anything simple. It's just covering up the yellow near the middle.
Yeah, it's good to see that Shaun's happy to mix it up. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the thing that is most eye-catching about him is the speed and the potting, but you don't get here without knowing how to play as well. And
Well, the great players have got both games. All
Absolutely.
the great players have got both games.
he looks to me well prepared. Like he seemed measured and calm outside. Like
Very
he was
much so.
taking it seriously.
Yeah, I had a chat to him as well. I was watching him the other day play Phil in the played Phil Harrison in the quarterfinals, I think, of the Masters tournament that we had here on the weekend, and I was sitting next to his mother, who was biting her fingernails, Annette.
Yes, I think it's much harder to watch a game than it is to play.
My son was playing on the table next to them, so I was doing the same at the time, actually. But she and I had quite a good chat about the vagaries of watching our sons play.
I think both of these guys will be seeing this as a good opportunity. I don't think either will be taking the other one lightly, but
No.
the fact that they're the two qualifiers and the two England players were in the other half of the draw is certainly not unhelpful.
I agree entirely. Now, the point here is, it's just the yellow near the middle needs to be moved. Okay, all the other yellows aren't bad.
No.
So he's just decided to take it out straight away. Just double kiss it out or knock it out a little bit. Play down the red, down the cushion. He's gone for the double. It's a great shot. It's a great shot.
Well, you can see, maybe Shaun that we thought was going to be the aggressive player, but Richard hasn't been turning down a lot. So
No,
far.
he's been very aggressive as well. He's just missed a couple early. So
Yeah, and the ones he's missed have been the easy ones as
Yeah.
well. They've not
Yeah.
been the difficult one. Yeah, where's this white going? Wow, we saw a lot of that in the first semi-final. Some very surprising in-offs from players of this quality.
it's just,
I think they're caught by surprise at how fast the table is, isn't it?
yeah, a little bit bigger. Just things are very different.
I think also perhaps the cushion just skidded a little. I think it maybe came off just a bit wider. I think he probably thought he was going to miss the pocket anyway, even if it did reach.
Well, that's the thing about the other tables we've been playing on. Of course, we've been playing on them for a week now. They're just the skiddiness slowed down. The cushions have.
Yeah, this table was installed. The arena was built yesterday, and the table itself was only installed this morning, so it
Correct.
hasn't had time to bed in.
Still, for Shaun to be going anywhere here, he still needs to be able to keep his two shots because of the red near the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, that's not worked so well this first
No.
shot.
I don't. Yeah, he's gone for the double, missed it. I personally thought he didn't. Well, the first shot he potted the red and tried to knock him out. I thought he could have put the white ball near the bulk line and maybe played one of those in the middle and knocked them out from that way. But
I was going to say a very similar thing, but he played the shot before either of us
yeah,
had a chance
had
to
a chance to say
comment
it.
on it.
Yeah. And that's what's going to happen with it. We're going to be thinking of shots. He obviously plays quicker than we think.
To play with a time lag so that we can see if we're all right.
I'm not going to say anything about our thinking ability. And that's the end of his 2 visits. And really, he's done nothing but leave him up. It's very surprising.
I feel we're probably going to say this a lot, but this is when you play quickly, it looks a bit rushed and it looks like you've not thought it through sometimes.
I mean, this is...
I mean, I think it probably helps both of them, actually, that the other one's so quick, because I think playing some really attritional slow player, they could both have got quite bogged down.
Oh, yeah. And it's happened at different times during this tournament, especially for... well, I can only speak from the Australian point of view. In Australia, we don't have... There's a lot of situations where we don't have umpires, but we've always timed ourselves. So we call 30 seconds on each other and play it. So we're just so used to playing in that time. And, of course, during this tournament, without umpires, on the odd occasionally, there have been a lot of players who take well over their time, and it's very hard to get into a rhythm when you're used to playing within the minute and the guy next to you is playing 2 or 3 minutes a shot. So at least these guys aren't going to encounter that because they are.
No, there doesn't seem much danger of that.
Yeah. But like I said, it was very strange. Just left him easily on all his balls.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed with that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to let the guy get his first frame on the board either. There's always much more pressure when they haven't.
Oh, especially when he stuffed it up 3 or 4 times himself.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it would have really made Richard think about his mistakes, but as it is, he's allowed back to the table for what turned out to be an easy clearance at the end. Ties the scores at 1 apiece.
And coming in with his own break with a bit more confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels settled down. Crowd starting to build up now. A few people had gone outside, I think, to take a break after the marathon that was the first match. A few of them starting to come back in now. Yeah, I'm just talking about the timing. I think most players, it's a bit of a generalisation, but at this level, people tend to play quicker the better standard. Local league matches, we've all played in matches that take hours to play a single frame. Yeah. You always get the odd guy. And I think in fairness to people, if there's no time limit, as there isn't the way we play here, is that if there's no referee, that there generally isn't a time limit that's enforced. Sometimes it puts people out of their stride, so I guess if you've got to take that advantage if it is an advantage for you.
Look, I don't disagree, except for the fact that the rules state you have a minute to play your shot. And we play to the foul sneakers, we play to frozen balls, we play to every other rule, but for some reason or other, we come to here, and it's a rule we'd like to see policed a lot better, because it does throw us out of our rhythm.
Yeah, I understand. I think it's a logistics thing largely.
Look, and financial as well. It's, how do you pay an umpire for all the number of matches they
have?
Well,
that's
it's... there's a lot of reasons why it happens. I'm not expressing to have the ultimate answer, but like I said, in Australia we just acknowledge 30 seconds mark. You go, no worries, mate, and we don't ever foul anybody. But
I think just having the time limit, because actually 60 seconds is quite a long time, but it's just the thought of it makes you play quicker a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You see a dry break there from Richard.
And this could be over very quickly.
Yeah, these yellows sitting pretty nice. Just needs to mind what he's doing with the cue ball. Won't have any trouble with the potting.
So you play this one, the one next to the red, back into the middle maybe. Might play this one in the corner first. No, he's playing the middle. Then the other middle, back down here for an easy black.
Relatively new addition to the UK Tour, Shaun Chipperfield, but up to 10 in the rankings already, and looks set to go even higher if he carries on playing like this.
Well, he did this 5 frames in a row to my son. I was crying at the time, by the way. But that's what he did. It took him 30 seconds.
Well, I was going to say, you talk about having a 60-second time limit per shot, but in less than a minute, he's cleared the table up.
Yeah.
Notches another one up. So
and these are the sort of guys we want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a dream for television, isn't he?
Of course he is. Yeah, if you want action and you want to promote the game, then Shaun's perfect for it. And, well, you can only admire him for being that good under the whip, under the pressure of the situation, and being able to play that quickly. And it shows everybody else that you can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of these very quick players. It's almost a coping mechanism. If you're a bit nervous, you don't think about too much. You just get down and play it.
I think that's the other part of it. And I think that's, as you were adhering to before, the tactical side of the game is that somebody who is a little bit slower will slow it down on purpose. And that's the same in all sports. We see it happen in tennis and all those
delay
sort of
somebody's
things.
serving in
correct.
a tennis match.
So, Shaun to break, have been leading 2-1.
Wow.
White again, that's 2
Exactly,
out of 2.
yeah, and exactly the same way. Both
Yeah.
times, White straight into the middle
Yeah.
pocket. And that's a bit careless. Like if you get cannoned off something, it's not really your fault. But if you're just going to drive it straight in
Yeah.
there,
Well, especially a player of this quality. Right. He was saying to me before the match started that he felt that, as you said, he just was going to have a little bit of time to adjust to the tables. But, I mean, that's from a front point straight back into the centre pocket. That means you're not hitting the white. You're not hitting the ball in the middle of the ball. So you haven't taken enough time to, and a player of his quality, if he lines it up properly, won't go off. So he'd be upset with himself, I'd say.
although as it happened, it was a dry break anyway. So Richard would have been back to the table, but he's
Correct.
got the
Yeah.
advantage of putting the cue ball wherever he likes.
Yeah. Reds, just the 2 down the bottom right and the 1 near the black that just need to be worked on perfectly. Don't see too many problems. The 1 near the black probably goes up the top left.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see this because we haven't seen him have to play many difficult positional shots, but
Yeah.
he is going to have to here.
Well, I think he's going to stun off this into the side cushion below the centre pocket. Just behind those 2 yellows, or is he following through? No, he's following through into that red.
Yeah, I wondered if he might play that cannon. The trouble is with playing it like that, there was always a chance of not leaving yourself a pot, which
Well, you were relying on luck. As it turns out, he's on this red, but it's going to have to be a good shot. The one closest to the cushion. Like I said, I thought he might have stunned just off the red in the middle over to the side cushion and been on the 2 he's about to play.
I mean, actually, if he does pop this, it may not be the worst thing.
Oh,
is
it'd
it?
be fantastic.
Open up a difficult
Yeah.
position.
Come back and kiss the yellow between the other 2 reds, and he should be perfect again. But not the easiest pot in the world. And he's just... Whoa! Never looked like missing, did it?
Well, some of the pots we saw missing to the middle pocket, you wouldn't have thought the pockets were generous at all, but
Yeah,
down the cushion that did look generous.
yeah.
I think that's also the thing with the new cloth. It just helps to slide in on the first down.
I think also these 8-footers are a little bit bigger pockets than the 7-footers.
They are.
Yeah.
They feel a bit more generous. I mean, they're not. It's very easy to watch it on TV and watch these people and think the pockets are massive. They're not like 9-ball pockets, but
That's such a good shot. I was just wondering what he was going to do with the red. It didn't go in either centre, right, or either corner because the yellow was in the way. He's tried to move it. Then he may just be a bit unlucky.
yeah, it's not. He's got it into the open, but the choice of pockets is still
So
relatively.
he's on this red. The next one
It must go in the middle from the way he's
must go in
playing
the
it.
middle, or up the top. I think you're right. I think it goes in the middle. We're about to find out.
Yes. From the way he's played it, you'd think it would. Although it really look like it does from that angle.
It does go in the middle.
He's got to be quite careful as well. With this black isn't going to be a formality. Is it?
No, and he's certainly not kissing into that yellow that's the furthest up. He's going past it. So may have to stun into the yellow to the left of that. Going up the table and back down. Oh, he's missed the pot again.
Now, he was playing with a lot of right-hand side there, which
Lot
was
of
the
right-hand
wrong side to help that pot. That
Yeah.
made the pot
Yeah.
significantly more
Made
difficult.
the pot a lot more difficult, didn't it?
It would also have been quite a difficult shot, even if he'd potted it, to get up and down precisely enough to drop in on the black was
Yeah.
not going to be easy.
Like I said, I thought he would have just stunned into the yellow to the left of centre and he would have still had a cut on the black.
Well, I think if you watch enough of this stage of the tournament, you learn that leaving yourself a shot is the best thing to do. Okay, sometimes you want to make it easy, but actually just they're good enough potters that leaving a pot is probably the best approach.
Yeah.
I feel we could see quite a lot of that in this match. People going for fairly adventurous first clearances, missing, and then the second guy coming in and quickly mopping them up.
Yeah, I think, look, from what I've seen already, and it's very, very early, but I think Shaun looks a lot more likely just to go game.
I'm worried by some of the.
Cleanly.
I'm worried by some of the misses. Richard's played some good shots, but
Yeah.
he's missed 3 balls now, 2 of which were really easy, and that one wasn't difficult. He
No.
can't be doing that.
Well, the thing that got me for that one is I think he played it. I would have liked to have thought he would have played it with a little bit, as you said, his opportunity to get on the black, even the way he played it, was going to be very tough. So,
And playing it with sort of inside side as you look at it,
Yeah.
it makes the pot so difficult.
yeah, because the white ball's moving before you hit it, and he had looked at it as though it was only the ball was only just on in the middle. But that's Shaun 3-1.
You know, I think it's clear that Shaun is going to be a momentum player. If he gets a few up, he's going to be running away with them.
Yeah.
He's pretty confident out in the arena.
Yeah,
Still
he's
enjoying
talking.
himself.
Yeah, he's
So-
talking.
He's
Talking
offer-
to his mates, having a bit of
he's even offering drink. Well, I don't know if he's offering drinks around or he wants the water replaced with something a bit more interesting.
So Richard to break again.
Yeah, I think he just needs to steady himself, Richard. Like, it's one thing playing fast, but you can't be throwing these careless misses in.
He needs this frame desperately. And a break and run would be just what he was looking for, I'd suggest.
The momentum's so much clearer to see when the players are playing this fast. Some matches where they're playing quite slowly, you feel like it's going to take a long time to rack up a frame or two, whereas with
Yeah.
this one mistake and a couple can be done in 5 minutes. I mean, it's taking longer for the referee to rack the balls up between the frames than it is to play the frames at the moment.
Yes, we haven't seen too many tacks. He's got 2 balls put over a hole and neither of them done properly.
No, quite.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you have got to do it. If you're going to play that kind of tactical shot, you really do want to do it properly.
yeah. I think
so-
these boys should steer away from tactics.
Yeah, it's not their forte, is it? Well, they're both having trouble with different way of doing it, but the same result.
Oh, and how are these?
Look
White
at these
ball in
balls.
off. I suggest he could go either, but I think he'll probably take the reds.
Yeah, it looks like is he lining up to play this yellow
I
off
think
the
so.
red?
I think he'll take the yellow onto the red, just to move the only
No, it's
half
both.
difficult red.
Played the red on the yellow, same effect.
Yeah, same thing. Now he plays this one and gets on the other only semi-difficult red on the table. And
Yeah, this is going to be done in less than a minute, would be my
oh
prediction.
yeah, I don't have to worry about my time fouls here, do I?
No, I think the timekeeper's going to be somewhat redundant. Got some poor guy sitting there keeping time for that. You may as well time the frame rather than.
Oh yeah. You know, you got to play it within a minute and a half. Sure, no, it's not fair. He just might have got a little kick there. You see that jump?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to trouble him because I don't think
No,
he cares
he's not
about
gonna
leaving a long
worry
shot,
about
but actually
Yeah.
it made the position a bit more difficult.
Yeah, he just got a little bit straight on that.
He's the
last
kind of guy that couldn't care less if he leaves the ball this long. Some
Yeah.
people would be wanting to get it just a little bit
Yeah.
closer, but to him that's over the
one.
pocket.
You've seen me play, have you? There you go. I think it was less than a minute. Amazing.
47 seconds I'm being told in my ear that frame
There
took.
you go. 47 seconds.
Well, we've played 5 frames in less time than it took to play the first frame or two in the
Jeez.
first semi-final.
Yeah. Well, it can't be a good thing. I think the organisers want caught up.
Yeah. I think, we in the production team would be keen to get our dinner in before the next match. So
That's it.
everyone's a winner if we play at this pace.
That's it. Except for Richard, who I suggest right now is just having a few nightmares.
Yeah, he also doesn't really look to me like the kind of guy that's going to be able to grind it out very effectively to get back into it. He just needs to find a way just to get a couple on the board, even if it's not pretty.
That's Richard's father. Sorry, that's Shaun's father, I think. Don't quote me. Like I said, I was sitting with his mother and that the other day, and this man was the other side. I'm pretty sure he's Shaun's father. Don't know his name. He looks like he's fairly interested in
Yeah.
what's going on, doesn't he, in proceedings?
Mr. Chipperfield Senior, as we'll call him, seems happy enough with the way things are going.
He does. So let's see how this break goes. Went close to the centre again. Red and yellow's both potted. It's a nice break.
That's
isn't
much
it?
better. Look at that, balls are
Nice break.
flying in everywhere.
So will he go reds or yellows? Doesn't really matter once again.
Yeah,
They're both there.
Don't think it matters in the slices. He's got 4 balls spotted off the break.
You take the yellow in the middle and go up the top, or the red in the middle and go up and down. He's actually stopping for about 5 seconds to have a look at the layout.
Yes.
Then he won't stop again. Went reds. Just needs to be on the one closest. Oh, it's on this one first. Good angle. Great shot.
Yes, slight improvisation there, but that
Yeah.
turned out better than plan A, I think.
Yeah. Well, it was just a fraction. I was surprised he went reds. I thought the yellows were on the out a little bit more, but I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah, that's
It may matter now.
that's a case of just playing it a little bit hurriedly without looking at the cannon. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, this is still okay actually
You
because
can play it in the middle, but it's going to be a long shot.
Ooh. Well, he missed that just because he was trying to force an angle around the cushions that didn't really exist.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
bit
well,
ambitious.
I thought he'd just pot it and take the long shot. As
Yeah.
you say, he's been potting all the long shots. But here's Richard's chance.
Yeah, I mean, look at these. He's got to be clearing these up.
Yeah. Well, if he's got any chance of winning this match. See, even there, you take the low yellow first, run to the white to the cushion, come back out for the easy one. That way you're not touching the other yellow.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no point, particularly on the 8-foot table where there's a bit more space. Like playing a cannon you don't need to is nearly always pointless.
Correct.
And often dangerous. I mean, that's an interesting shot. I think most players would probably just have rolled that in and left that one there.
Well, I thought he could have played the one that he's closest to now up the rail and left Shaun nothing if it missed, still leaving himself everything else. And he would have, the red on the top was being covered by the yellow over the hole, and would have left him off this one. So he's just making it difficult. There's no question of that.
Yeah, trying to play a kind of, well, you call it a snooker shot or a 9-ball shot. He was trying to play with a lot of check side there, which hasn't proved particularly easy. We've seen a few people try that on this table, and they nearly always find the ball skids much further across than they were expecting.
As we were talking about earlier, brand new cloth, new tables, they're going to skid a little bit, aren't
I think you're better to go with it on this table. It's quite slippery. Just
Yeah.
don't try and check the ball up. Just try and make it run around naturally.
We have another miss.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I don't want to sound like we're being critical because goodness knows he's played so well to get here, but these slightly loose shots that he's playing at the moment, you can't be missing a straightforward pot in every frame, or that was a more difficult one, but you cannot be missing a pot of frame against Shaun Chipperfield.
Especially when Shaun's laid it there for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's even worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bad enough if it's a mistake of your own making, but when you've been gifted a second chance like that.
Yeah.
A lot to think about in his chair. 5-1 down now. Well, he doesn't look overly worried, and nor should he, but he just needs to tighten up. If he plays like he is, but without the misses, I mean, obviously that's the holy grail of every poor player, but that's what he needs to do.
Well, I think the misses are caused by shot selection.
Yeah.
To me, that's always the case. You put pressure on yourself by playing the wrong shot. You might pot the ball, but you're out of position, and therefore you then put more pressure on the next pot, and the next pot it compounds.
Yeah,
itself.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the good players, the really good players, I mean, like Phil Harrison, we saw earlier, it just makes it look really simple. He comes to the table, you think, well, that was a pretty simple clearance, he's rolled them in,
Yeah.
but only because he took them in the right order.
Correct. I thought he played beautifully. He just didn't finish a couple of times right at the end there. And
Yeah, that very last frame was what an awful.
yeah. Look, I felt that he should have taken the ball in the middle and gone up and down after not getting good position.
Yeah.
He's such a great player. He should have just made it easy for himself. gone up and down the table. And so,
So a dry break from Richard has gifted Shaun another opportunity.
and there's just no slowing him down. Just needs to work on the red below the 2 yellows on the right here. Goes to the bottom left.
You'd have to say, for Carl Sutton looking on and thinking about who he'd rather play in the final, like it might not be looking at one of the seeded players or one of his teammates like he would in any other year, but he's not going to fancy the chances of playing Shaun or Richard if he gets himself together. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, Shaun looks very deadly.
You know, this boy's dangerous. There's no question of that. So what's he going to do here? Has he got enough to play top left and get back over where his hand is now? No, he's just going up.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So you feel if you were just playing for fun, you'd have bashed it around the angles
Yeah,
and
yeah.
played it a lot harder. But
He's just going to
no
play
need
the skinny and come up in screw back the same way. Always back to the other side. Follow through the bottom cushion and back out for the black and
Yeah,
yellow.
it's just a nice clean bit of cueing here.
But you're right, he's a dangerous looking player, Mark. He's quick.
Well, it's just a scary player, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
you think there's nothing doing, and then you haven't even really had a chance to assess what the situation is.
And 10 minutes later, you're 5-6-1 down, is it?
Yeah, 6-1.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's a hard guy not to root for. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
nice lad.
very much
He
so.
plays a beautiful game, not just in the
Yeah.
quality, but it just looks nice to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. He's easy to barrack for because he plays Paul like the way we'd all like to play.
Yes. I mean, I think we don't all play like that, but unfortunately we can't all play like that.
In our dreams.
Well, he plays the kind of game most decent players could probably play like that if they're not playing in the World Championship semi-final. But to come out in front of all these people and play like that.
Play like that, yeah. Well, I think, as you said before, his pace certainly helps him.
Yeah.
Once he's in his rhythm, he just doesn't. You don't give yourself time to get too nervous when you play this quickly. But he has supreme confidence in his own ability. There's no question of that.
Well, a friend of mine playing him at a 9-ball tour recently, and they have a late night flyer on the Friday night. He beat Shaun. Shaun was saying this never happens. I win this flyer every tournament. It's a sort of quick pace late night. Like he said, this is just perfectly my game. This is what I'm here for.
Okay, so Shaun broke. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a better looking break, isn't it? Well, it's better in the sense he hasn't got enough, which was the flaw at the beginning, and he's spotted one as well.
It's all over again, I'd suggest. Just very quickly, a little stun back for the other one in the other corner. Might play the one in the middle first.
It's just looking so easy right now. I mean, you can be forgiven for saying, well, the balls keep turning out really nice, but I mean, they're turning out nice because he's playing them, right?
It's funny, that's how it seemed when he played my son the other day. I just thought, how can they be this easy? Like, every time I looked up, he had 6 balls and they were all just out in the open. But maybe he just makes them look easy.
Well, and I think I'm prepared to give him the credit for the break. He's obviously got a good and powerful break, which is what serves him well here.
No question. I mean, it's just...
I mean, it's just... What can you say? It's so quick, it's so easy.
I'm glad you've invited me in for the commentary. I've really enjoyed my 10 minutes of stardom.
Well, I'm afraid we're paying you by the hour, not by the frames.
Isn't that fantastic? It's just great to watch. I'm sure Richard's not thinking that, but...
No, I mean, it feels like we're being a little one-sided, talking so much about Shaun. I mean, Richard played so well to get to this point. I mean, some of the players he's beaten. I mean, he beat the number 4 seed Michael Hope as the most eye-catching win in the last 32. He beat 84. Yeah. He's beaten some good players. Wayne Bonici, good Maltese player, and Eddie Barker in the last 16. I haven't seen quite so much of Eddie lately, but I mean, he's a name that's been around a long time. Like, you don't beat Eddie unless you're a good player.
Yeah.
And then one of your teammates, Michael Skerry, in the...
Michael's won our last two Australian titles. Just hard man to beat. really digs in, never gives up. She's had 4 goes at going off there.
Yes.
Did he pot anything?
No, tellingly he didn't.
Still didn't pot anything. And I can't see a safe yellow. So I don't think it's going to be quite as quick this time, but it could be very, very quick.
You felt at the beginning of the match, Shaun was playing himself and it wasn't going for a clearance every time he came to the table, but
Yeah.
I can't see him doing anything but now.
Oh, and like we say, it's happening so quickly. It's devastating if you're playing against it. You're just demoralised. I talked to my son after the match, and normally I run away when he's lost it because he's the same as all of us. We're like 10 minutes to. But I hung around this particular time. He said he wasn't worried about it at all. He just said, "Well, what can I do?" He said it's just over before it was over, before it started.
Yeah, I remember exactly that. The first time I played Shaun, it was a tournament I was doing okay in and thought I might go a bit further, but played him and you just think, what can you say, bar well played at the end? I mean, he played like this and he played this quickly.
Yeah. Hasn't played this one quite. I think maybe going a bit quick this time hurt him a little bit. I thought he might have played it a different way around. It's hard to commentate on because he's playing so quickly. You don't get a chance to think about what he's going to play, but I thought he might have left this one till second last and he had the other yellow across, but he played it early and just got out of position a little bit. But he's good enough to recover. That's how good he is. He just pots those so easily. It's a difficult shot though, from hard up on the cushion.
Wow. What's he done here? Can he see enough to put it in the middle?
Maybe the double. Doesn't look like he's got enough, does it?
You fancy him to double it even if he has to.
Correct. No, he had to
Had to
double,
double
it
it
back,
that way,
so
wow.
he didn't have much of it, did he? Well, Rich's chance for a frame.
Well, that's the penalty of playing fast, isn't it? I mean, that I can't see that being that consequential in the context of the match, but 8-1 would have been a nice. He'd have enjoyed his mid-session interval if he'd potted that ball. I mean, this is surely a must-win frame. I mean, 8-2 isn't a happy scoreline, but
So he's going to
7-2 rather won't be a happy
back
scoreline.
out off the cushion. Yeah. I think Richard would just be happy to get a few frames on the board now. I'm sure he'd like to still win. I'm sure he hasn't given up, but
Yeah, there is that sense when you play out in this arena and you've probably got more people, certainly more people watching, but probably more of your own supporters. You might have friends and family coming up once you reach this stage. You just want to show, I mean, he doesn't need to prove to anybody what a good player he is, but you kind of do feel like you want to prove that.
every time you go out there, you've taken these very well. So 7-2 at the end of the session.
Well, what can you say? For anybody that thought we might be running behind schedule after the first match, that lived absolutely up to every expectation. We said at the beginning of the match that Shaun Chipperfield's a fast and fluent player. Really, he couldn't have done much more. And his opponent, who I think we'd probably seen a bit less of, turned out to be every bit as fast around the table. Less chances, and I think, Mick, really just a couple of careless misses were what separated the players there.
Well, that was the prediction, wasn't it, Mark? Right from the start, we saw Richard come out and not taking long over shots, and he just missed a couple of easy ones that we expected him to get, and Shaun just took advantage of it spectacularly, really. He potted out a couple of times himself. But as you alluded to, he went off the first 2 times he broke. So Richard had his chances. He just a little bit nervy, I think he was. Maybe his first time out. I know he's played on the professional snooker tour, so he's obviously used to the pressure. But
Well, it's a terrifying prospect where you miss one and then suddenly you're
Yeah.
2 frames down in 2 minutes. And actually, it doesn't really. Sometimes it's good. It doesn't really give you any chance to regroup, think what you're going to do next. But I mean, actually, sometimes that's quite a bad thing. You just want a bit more time to think about it.
Yeah, and like I said, on a game of snooker, at least you've got maybe 15, 20 minutes between a frame. This thing, Sean's putting out within a minute, and then he's breaking and putting, and getting balls and just putting you under the pressure every single time you play the shot.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure I've ever commentated on a match where the mid-session interval is going to be longer than the first session of play, but that potentially looks like the situation here. The players are coming out for a break. We'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes' time.
Right, so very quick turnaround there. The second half of this match. It's been fast and furious so far. We've had to barely had time to draw breath. Shaun Chipperfield running away with this semi-final. It's a race to 10. And to be honest, if it was a race to 15, it'd certainly be over very quickly. But what do you think Richard's got to try and do here, Mick, now, in this second part of this match? Is there anything he can do?
It's a couple of things. First and foremost, he's getting chances, Shaun. He's been to the table an awful lot. I think he really needs just to, take a little bit more time. Shaun's so quick that maybe he's trying to be quick with him and he's just falling out of his own rhythm. I think he needs to take a fraction more time. You've got plenty of time out there. Concentrate hard. He's obviously a great player, but he's not showing it here. So here we go. Let's see if he can pull any of these back. He needs to win this first frame, whatever.
Yeah, so here we go, frame 10. Shaun Chipperfield breaks.
Pots of yellow in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, red and a yellow, I think, so
I think you're right.
I'm certainly going to go reds here, I think, Mick.
Red over the hole is there. Yeah, play the red onto the red.
Just develop that a little bit there. Just didn't really need to move the yellow out of the way.
Just play so quickly, Shaun.
Yeah, I mean, this is a breath of fresh air, really.
Oh.
Seeing this sort of pool. This is almost like Carl Sutton used to play. Maybe not quite as quick, but very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And did very little thinking about it. And Carl said that the one thing he'd done with his game, and I asked him about it, he just started to think a little bit more and it had slowed him down. And obviously it paid dividends, but just a little bit out of position here. His three balls are sort of spread wide, so...
Thought he might have taken the one up over the hole early, so he didn't have to come back down. Then he'd just have this one now for the black up the top, but he has to travel here. He has to go back up and down the table. Still should be fine, but I've always found the less travelling you do, the less chance of making mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that's what all the top players would always advocate, but certainly not doing Shaun Chipperfield. A great shot there from Shaun Chipperfield.
Just come back out in a similar spot and pot the black in the corner. And distance doesn't seem to worry him, Shaun.
No, I think he plays quite a bit of snooker as well, so...
Yeah.
And down the 8 ball goes. It's now 8-2, Shaun Chipperfield in a race to 10.
Once again, very little time. I know taking time is certainly just helps you with the non-misses, but this boy's obviously trained himself not to take much time. He's, I don't know if he does exhibitions or things like this, but wouldn't this be great to watch in the local pub?
The one thing I've seen Shaun play for quite a number of years now down at Great Yarmouth in some of the national events, and he's the sort of player that when things are going for him like they are now today, and like they've done previously in the early part of this tournament, that's it, he's almost unstoppable. But he will just make one or two careless mistakes along the way, or has done.
Because he's so quick.
Because he's so quick, and that's cost him.
Yeah.
But at the moment, he's on a roll, and that's it.
It's funny, Shaun, that you talk about players like that, and they do make mistakes because they're so quick. But in the scheme of things, you'd much rather they were like that. So you get to watch the fun of it. And it is a joy watching great pool played really quickly, I think.
At the end of the day, the aim of the game is to pot the yellows of the reds and pot the black, frame over.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then great. But frame 11, Richards broke off. He's made a couple of balls. Oh, he's made, not maybe a couple. Two yellows, yeah. I thought 2 yellows disappeared. So
both into the same hole.
Yeah.
If he wants to take yellows, he's got to take this one. I don't think he can cut the one he's closest to. So he's got to take the one right down this other end. It's a long shot. Could take the reds. The reds aren't bad, but the black's more difficult if you take the reds. The yellows are very easy if you can just pot one.
Yeah, Richard's got a few followers here in the crowd today, but he's also, I know it's back on the big screen, back home and at his mum and dad's B&B and pub, the Bull's Head in Chelmarsh. I think they've got it on the big screen there. Unfortunately, it's not very happy viewing at the moment.
It's a great shot.
But great shot, as you say, Mick, there.
If this yellow goes in the middle, you can just play it softly. The one back down into this corner, screw across for the one near the black. And then up the top, and then back down for the black. Oh, this one's on in here as well. He's got options anyway.
I think the problem with taking this one is there'll be danger that he's
Kissing into the others.
kissing
I don't.
into the ball.
I think he
so-
should be taking the one in the middle, then the one he's closest to back into the corner, like that. Little bit of angle to get back to the cushion where he can play the one in the middle, because that's difficult to get to because of where the black is. And then he'll have the free ball up the top just to get back for the black in the middle. Oh,
He's just okay there. He's just still get through to the yellow over the middle.
you got better eyes than me, Shaun. I hope you're right. He obviously has the way he's looking at it. I thought I might have stunned into the reds to make sure I was still on them, but he's played it better than I would. It's better not to be on the reds.
Yeah, I think the danger of that is you stun into the red and maybe just leave yourself a little bit too
Little
thin.
bit
Then you
awkward.
leave a cue ball on the rail.
Yeah, white ball running.
Yeah. Plenty of room there. Well, great response here from Richard so far in this 11th frame. Exactly what he needed. I think at this point, he's probably in his mind, he just wants to try and make the score respectable,
Very much
you
so.
know.
And
if
then
he
if something happens.
Exactly. If he could put 2 or 3 frames together on the spin,
It's a great shot.
then it just starts to put a bit of doubt in Shaun's mind,
Yeah.
you know, and gives him some confidence.
We should just took a little bit longer over that out as well, even though it was simple. Just took his time, worked it out, played it beautifully.
Yeah, excellent finish there from Richard King.
So for this to be a match now, we need Shaun to miss going off the break again or something like that. Not that we're wishing him ill well.
Exactly, but like, as I said, that's what Richard needs. He's just he'll just be looking to put couple of frames on the board. Like, let's just make this respectable. You don't want to be someone who gets beat in the World Semi-Final 10-2, 10-3. You know, you want to be someone who, well, I went out, all right, missed a couple of chances early on, let the opponent get away from it, and he had to chase the game.
Fought my butt off, got back to 10, 9-5, and he went game or whatever. But needs this frame badly. So he needs a mistake from Shaun. It was just an off the break, a bit of bad luck somewhere along the line.
You see our referee here, Claire Watts. She's involved in her first World Finals this time on the streaming stage.
Encountered
Good
Claire
job
a
so
number
far.
of times. Yeah, I've encountered her a number of times during the week. She's just happy, smiley, friendly person who's always willing to help and great referee. Knows her business.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit concerned. I was talking to her before we got to this stage about racking the balls up on the TV table, but certainly doing a good job so far. I think every time the balls have split nicely.
Yep.
In terms of, you know, the
I don't
pack's
think-
not been
yeah,
stuck together.
We,
so
we haven't had any what we call dodgy breaks in
no,
Australia.
no.
So, yeah, Richard's got his chance. Shaun's missed off the break. Red in the middle, just kissed the other one up.
The only awkward position he's got here is obviously the 2 reds and the yellow top left.
Yeah, I think he might be able to get through this one in the middle now, Shaun, and run the whole way through. I think the red closest to the top pocket of those two might be on.
I think it does go, and then it's just a question: does he just flick the other one?
Leave himself on the one
Does he
over
flick
the
it
other
out
side.
and leave the
Yeah.
pot into the top right?
Just depends on how straight this is, if he can get the whole way across. I'd like to have gone a little bit further, I think.
Sure, I think he's left himself quite a nice angle actually there. The only problem he's got here, he doesn't get stuck behind the red that he's
Yeah.
trying to develop.
Has to get it moved
Yeah.
one way or the other.
he's-
Unless it's on in the middle. Unless he can just play this red softly and then play the red back into the middle.
Again, taking his time. It's like, I don't think we've heard the timekeeper call 30 seconds once in this match so far.
Yeah.
It's just been that quick, and you realise you know you have got a minute to play the shot. So if you need to, take that minute, or at least take 30, 40 seconds of it.
So he's just playing this one down the corner and getting himself a better angle to nudge that other red when he plays the one over the... I think that's just a little... Maybe he might have ended up in the same spot, Shaun.
Yeah, and I don't think he's too far away from where he was.
Can't
so.
be happy about that. Look, and you can't afford to play the one over the other hole because
Makes you wonder, why not back off here? Maybe
that's
just
what I
drop the
believe.
red.
That's what I think.
Just drop the red over the top corner pocket. He leaves the cue ball in sort of behind the yellow,
Yeah.
behind
You
the
have-
red, or
Yeah,
close
have
to
to
it.
overcut it. It's in the wide end of the cushion, back in behind there. I agree with you totally. I think that's the
Let's-
right way to
yeah,
go.
Let's see Shaun Chipperfield in a tactical situation.
Yeah, and we've got the other pocket covered, right? So the yellow there is not going anywhere. I think it's exactly the right shot.
Oh, no, he opted to develop it. It was a
Well,
great
that's
shot.
Fantastic shot.
Yeah. I
Played
mean,
it off the cushion.
Yeah.
Played it off the cushion. So obviously he got too straight on it again, like we said the ticket before, the shot before. He's played this very, very well.
Yeah.
But he took his time, Shaun. Just took a little bit extra time. And that's what was happening in the first couple of frames.
Yeah.
Rushing, missed a couple of shots he would
It's,
never have
it's
missed.
the nerves, it's the adrenaline, you know.
Yeah.
World semi-final. Will I ever be in this position again? Yes,
Yeah.
I'd like to think so, but
Yeah, maybe not.
you know, maybe not. So it's just got to him a little bit the occasion and just rushed a little bit, which is unfortunate because I think he's done, you know,
Oh, well, he's obviously a great player, but
yeah, fantastic performance to get to this. I mean, he's had to play 5 qualifiers. We're just bigging him up, and he's played a terrible shot there, really. Snooking himself on the black.
I thought he should have screwed back off the yellow he hit, just snipped it, and he would have gone up and put the black in the easy middle.
Yeah, he's just tried to run round it there,
And
hasn't
he hit the same yellow, and it's gone across and sneaking him. Now he has to have a bit of luck, because this will be over very quickly if he doesn't pot the black. I think he basically has to pot it. And he's missed it.
It was a poor miss. He needed to at least make contact with that, you know, and say to Shaun, well, you go on then, you've got one visit, knock these in if you can.
He's got a little bit lucky with where he's left the white. What's he going to do, Shaun? Is he going to cut that in? Looks a little bit off long term. Down the bottom.
I think, yeah.
Might be skinny enough.
Yeah,
Just
I think
hit the
he's,
side
I think
cushion.
he's
knock the
okay.
bad
He's off
ones
the
out.
side cushion. He
Knock
developed
the bad
well.
ones out.
He was unfortunate he doesn't develop it, although he may just developed it enough that it now plants, which is what he's going to play.
If that's the case, he's been a bit lucky. And now it's all over. 2 shots from there.
Yeah.
We could time this. It'll be about 18 seconds.
I don't know. He's taking his time. Look, he stopped. He's choked his cue.
That's rubbish.
Again, you see, that's... Didn't need to do that.
No,
Didn't
but he
need to
loves
do
it.
that.
But he loves
Hey,
it.
don't get me wrong, he loves the game and it looks great.
Yeah.
But he did not need to do that. And,
No.
and you just wonder if he gets to the final, which he's looking odds-on favourite to do, you know,
Yeah, how he's going to go in
can
a
he
bit of a
keep going on
tactical
this roll?
situation.
Yeah,
But it's going to be fun to watch if he does.
certainly so. And the 8 down in the middle pocket. Shaun Chipperfield just 1 frame away now from the world final. And a date with Carl Sutton tomorrow afternoon. You see there some of the crowd. They're on the Chipperfield side. Some of the England players there. Shane Thompson, we can see Chris Day just there in the background, I think. There's Shabir DePaul, the guy who's smiling. He has not stopped smiling all week at these championships. So happy to be here and so happy to be playing 8 ball at the highest level. But, be interesting actually if they get through to say both Shaun Chipperfield and Carl Sutton know each other really, really well from the same part of the country, Region 4. Shaun's from Norfolk and Carl's from Suffolk, so know each other very, very well. Probably played each other a number of times as well.
We're in for a fantastic final.
Yeah. So frame 12,
I'm sure Carl will slow it
sorry,
down a bit.
frame 13 even. It's,
We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit,
yeah.
but I'm sure Carl will probably slow it down a little bit. Do you think?
I think he'll attempt to, but it's whether Shaun would allow him. As I
Yeah.
say, we're not there yet. Richards broke off, he's made a ball.
Yellow off the red into the middle or straight in?
Problem is, I don't think he's got any choice, but he's running into the other yellow, that's the issue here, and then it
Yeah.
just sort of like, at the moment they all go. Just how that develops for him.
Just straight in.
He played a nice shot there, actually.
Just got the yellow he's closest to now that needs to be got, whether it goes up the top where he's looking now.
Sure it does. It may even go left middle, but
May go left middle.
or certainly goes bottom left. So he's got plenty of options here. Oh,
Yeah,
just,
good call.
just take your time here, Richard. Let's see you knocking a good finish.
It obviously goes up the end now, Shaun.
Just wondered if he wanted to come a little bit further, he could run through. If he could still run through for the yellow that's in the top half of the table on the left-hand side.
I think he's kissing the red if he runs through, so he's...
Yeah, he's just potentially changed his mind on the shot he was going to play. I think he might have to leave that ball at the table till last now.
Seems that way. But that's all right. It's...
Yeah.
So pop the one near the cushion, come across. We'd like to be below it, actually, so you could just stun up the cushion.
Yeah, because he's got to be a little bit careful here. There's 3 reds almost
Three
to the
reds
line
in
across
the
the
way.
across the table.
Yeah.
Potentially in the way.
So he's gone up for that one first.
Yeah, a little bit unorthodox this. Scoring.
Yeah. As you said earlier, it's not... Most pool players like to clean up one end first.
Yeah, keep all the work in one area of the table.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with this,
No,
except that he's missed the pot
he's
again.
missed the red. That's unfortunate, that is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's been the story. He's probably made 3 mistakes like that that have cost him the frame. So if you look at it, 3 frames he's almost gifted Shaun. You know, potentially it could have been 6 all.
Well, that's a 6-frame turnaround.
You know, it's one of those games.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
But as we said, just make, by going up and down the table a little bit, you make position a little bit harder, and you tend just to miss a pot now and then. Once again, these are going to be finished pretty quickly.
yeah, the writing certainly looks on the wall now here for Richard King.
A little bit unorthodox. I don't know if I would have taken them quite this way.
No, no.
But he's doing it simply.
He's a little bit unorthodox, to
Yeah.
say the least, at times, Shaun. But
Yeah.
if it works for you, and it clearly is.
Well,
so
the key is he's not missing, Shaun.
No.
He's not missing anything, and he's doing it very easily, but it looks of it. What a fantastic performance this has been. Just
Well, yeah,
Incredible.
superb performance here.
Yeah.
Down goes the black, and Shaun Chipperfield wins the match by 10 frames to 3, and he books his place in the World Semi-Final, where Carl Sutton awaits. Fantastic performance, and we hope to see you all soon with our first team semi-final, Ireland versus India. Thank you, and we'll see you again shortly.